What's up everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today, I want you to tell me a little bit about yourself. It's a common question you can receive when meeting someone new or going in for an interview, so being able to answer this question successfully is important. Like almost everything, there are right and there are wrong ways to go about this question, and today, I'll be covering both for your reference. Before getting started, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to help out the channel. And let's get into it. When going in for an interview, you might be feeling tons of emotions. You might be excited for that interview, but you might also be rightfully nervous. Sometimes, being nervous can affect our train of thought and how we answer the most simplest questions. So before we even dive into how you should approach this question or interview altogether, you should always take a deep breath or drink some water to get rid of some of those nerves. Even during an interview, having a small bottle of water is never a bad idea. You might be talking a lot or answering tons of questions, so keeping your throat clear is always a plus. Now, when it comes to answering this question, it really depends on your situation. If you're a recent graduate, it's appropriate to mention where you went to school and what you studied, but it's not as much the case when you're applying for a senior management position after working 15 years and mentioning your undergraduate degree. Keep in mind, however, your graduate degrees are a whole different story, and receiving notable degrees from a prestigious school is always worth mentioning. You always want to keep the answer to this question as up-to-date as possible and as relevant to the position as possible. There's no need to be mentioning things like, well, I was born in Austin and moved to California when I was 5, and all that kind of stuff. Always steer clear of your personal life, like talking about family or that special person and how they inspired you to pursue that even certain career. Remember, they aren't the ones being hired for that position, so you should talk about what you think is not only relevant but beneficial to your candidacy. If you studied something relating to that position, mention what got you interested in that field altogether. Share that story and mention any accomplishments that came along the way. Sharing your success stories shows them that you've actively pursued other ventures similar to this one, so not only do you have the experience, but you also did very well in those endeavors. Being able to add as much detail and steering clear from either a generic answer or one you think they're expecting is always better. Focus more on the quality of your message and what you want them to have as a takeaway from this question or interview. What I like doing is taking turns answering this question in front of some friends for feedback. Being able to see what their takeaway was from my answer is helpful because you have the opportunity for feedback and to improve your message. If you don't want to do this in front of your friends, then no worries. You're welcome to record yourself and play it back just to see how you responded. See what you liked from your answer and what you'd like to change as well. Sometimes doing it in front of a mirror is also helpful because it helps you see your body language, which also says a ton about you. But if you'd like specialized interview prep, feel free to visit my website ryanralphie.com to schedule an appointment to practice some more. Aside from advice, I offer mock interviews and questions that you'll be asked, so be sure to check out my website after this video. Now, when I would be asked this question, I try to tie everything together. I'd mention how being an engineering major provided me the ability to work in team environments, as well as develop strong problem solving and technical skills, which relates to the work that I'll be doing now. I tailor this question to the company and position I'm applying for to have the best results. So you should be doing the same in order to enhance your opportunities. Being able to add the company's requirements and tying that into your story is the perfect way you can answer this question because it also shows you've done your research and are prepared for the next part of your professional career. You want this question to be geared around yourself, but if you're good enough, you'll find ways to tie that into why you want to work at that company as well. Try to limit your response to no more than 45 seconds because you do also want to leave room for more dialogue. Regardless of the interview, I always make sure that I'm formal, but also slightly casual. I always show respect, but I do my best to make these interviews more conversational. Sometimes the interviewer wants to be more direct by simply asking questions and wanting direct answers, which is also fine. So it's just a matter of feeling the situation and figuring out what you think might be the best for you. Now again, I don't want to go against what I just mentioned about the time length because what's more important than how long you can talk is what you're talking about. Creating that story that ties into your past experiences, who you are, and what you hope to accomplish at that new company is more important. Always find ways to tie these together in the most natural way possible. You don't want to be dropping sentences that just don't fit together or continue rambling on because both are awkward and make you look nervous. What I want you to notice is that as I'm mentioning all of this, I'm not really giving you an exact template to follow, which is cookie cutter, because each individual is going to have a different idea when it comes to that company and position they are applying to. That's why it's best to take my advice in what I'm sharing with you and use that to frame your answer when it comes to answering the tell me about yourself question. For someone who's been working for more than 5 years in pivoting companies or industries, there's usually a more common template to follow when answering this question, and that's talking about your last job, how long you were in that role, your responsibilities, and why you're applying to this position now. If you left out that last part of the answer, that would be my follow-up question when interviewing you, because I would want to know how your experiences have prepared you for this position now. Don't be ambiguous or provide vague answers or even answers that aren't true, because that's what you're thinking they want to hear. Rather, think about why you applied to that position. What does it offer you? From there, mold an answer that best presents why you're there and why you're interviewing altogether. So as a recap, it's always best to share a personalized story, sharing your accomplishments and why you want to work at that company. Being able to share vivid or quantitative examples is always helpful for them to get a better understanding of who you are, but you should be aware of how long you're taking to answer these questions as well. Feel free to share achievements in your anecdotes, but steer clear of mentioning anything in your personal life since you are in a professional setting. By being able to get feedback and improve your story, you'll be prepared to take on the tell me about yourself question. With that being said, I hope you found this video helpful. If you'd like more information on other questions you might be asked during your next interview, I have more videos on this channel like my top 5 behavioral interview questions, which I highly encourage you guys to check out. Be sure to also visit my website, ryanrafi.com, and use my promo code in the bio below to help your career or professional endeavors. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time.